Hi, everyone. My name is Chris Sands. I'm your host. Today, I'm joined by a trio of representatives from different breweries. So we're going to talk about how breweries are often not just hubs as a place for people to go to within a community, but they actually do a lot to support their community and just do charitable activities in general. So that's what we'll be talking about today. And serendipitously, this is being released the week of Thanksgiving. So as people can be extra thankful for their local community brewery this week. Can everyone introduce yourselves and tell us what brewery you're from? We'll start with to the right of me.
Hey guys, I'm Rachel with Duclaw Brewing Company, and I'm the marketing manager there.
I'll go next. I'm Amethyst with Checker Spot Brewing, and I am the beer maven or beer dashian. I got my hands in everything here.
Hey everybody, my name's Ken. I'm with Monument City Brewing. I'm one of the co-founders. My brother and I, yeah.
So actually, the only person who's never been on before is Rachel. Amethyst has been on once before. Ken has been on multiple times, old friend of the show, but it's been forever since we've gotten to talk. So I'm so glad you were able to join in at such last moment.
Yeah, no problem at all.
Before we jump in, as I already told the four of you, I'm just going to go with some shameless self-promotion and talk about a beer that comes out on December 11th with it's the third rendition of Super Hype Bros, that a series of beers I've been making with Saints Row Brewing, and this time Chelsea, who is at 21st Amendment Girl on Instagram, joined in with us, and it's Mario Kart themed, and it's a peach cobbler white stout. So we're each depicted as a different Mario character chasing each other around on the can, and we'll also have some awesome glassware available for it. So keep your eyes open to see when that comes out. All right, now to the important stuff. I guess, Amethyst, since you kind of made me do this, do you?
I didn't make you do anything.
Well, I mean, you made me do it.
I just pitch ideas.
You made me do it, and well, you just kind of made it happen. So
that's why I am the beer dashian.
Why don't you start? Since you're in control of this episode, I believe.
So I pitched to Chris. This, especially with 2020, is just a hard year for all of us, and a lot of big projects came out nationally. Call to action for breweries. Sierra Nevada did the campfire fundraiser, and then Black Lives Matter. Black is Beautiful beer came up from Weathered Souls, and it made me think about how breweries are a larger part of their community than just making good beer and bringing people together. And not all breweries can just jump on every project. So what I thought about is the projects that we're doing locally in smaller formats, and the decision-making process we took here on what to get involved with, what we could meet the capacity in our tap room. And I was really interested in how other breweries made that decision on their call to action. And so I kind of wanted to have a roundtable on it. And so I reached out to Chris, and here we are.
I mean, you did a little more forcefully, but yeah, that sounds like sounds like a decent way to describe what happened.
It was all on Messenger. How much forceful is it to just drop messages?
There was force behind your messages.
I type very vigorously.
It was more just like, all right, we're ready. This is when it's going to happen. This is who's going to do it. So I guess, Ken, Monument City is really a big into giving back to the community. Do you want since you're the sole person here that is the owner of a brewery, so it can really drive what a brewery is doing. Can you explain like what motivates you for that, and why do you feel strongly about running a brewery and making sure you give back?
Sure. Monument City, is just one of many, many breweries that give back. What I think is really cool about the craft beer community and really Maryland as a whole is everyone does their part. The community, the people who support, Monument City and other breweries, they really kind of welcomed us into the community. And I think it's really important for any business, not just in our industry, but any business to that relies on, the people of their community to give back in some way. And there's a lot of really good causes out there to give back to. We've participated in several, and, it's tough to pick and choose. So we really just try to find, those causes that align with, us as a brewery and, and kind of, the things that are really important to us, as team members. So we all have, all of our team members have input into, the things we're giving back to and why.
So with you, it's more of like, guess what would be you and your team's personal passion projects?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a couple things. I mean, obviously things that directly impact the community in which we kind of live and work. So for example, Amethyst brought up, the Black is Beautiful campaign started by Weather Souls. We participated in that and, felt like there was a direct impact to our local community by being able to, brew that beer, 100% of the proceeds going to Vault legal action. And so that's an example of something directly related to our community. We also, the arts, whether, music and local artists are important to us. So WTMD is another nonprofit that we work with. Obviously WTMD is listener supported. So we just did a virtual concert this past weekend for them, and had a virtual tip jar where people could donate to the cause. And then we obviously, outdoor, the outdoor experience is really important to us. So making sure that we have kind of nice, clean, green spaces for people to enjoy outside is kind of another area that we're focused on. So last year, we took part of our proceeds from Among the Pines, and, donated, a grove of trees from that. So we continue to try to find ways to give back. 2020 has been really, really tough to carve out revenue for that, but we're still trying to find ways to contribute in the ways we can, at least.
Yeah, that was something I was going to say. Like how, like while basically all hospitality, the entire hospitality industry, which I think breweries definitely fall within, is struggling so bad right now. That's got to be really hard at this moment to still continue to give up precious revenue. But breweries still have been and a driving force in so many areas during this whole time. I don't know what the question was. I guess that was just more of a statement. So I guess it's more of a thank you for being altruistic.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It is hard, and I'm sure, I'm sure each of us want to do more. And there's a lot going on, in 2020, beyond, COVID and the impacts of COVID on our industry specifically. So I know the other breweries, Checker Spot and Duclaw you are finding those ways to give back as well. And it's not just the three of us. There's there's a lot of good work by a lot of breweries in the state. So, that makes me proud to be part of that community, or this community that even in tough times, does what they can to give back.
Yeah, I would have to say it's definitely was not hard to find anyone to participate in an episode about this. While we have 3 breweries and all clustered in Baltimore just by coincidence, they're across the state. Well, I mean, the entire country, it's very much the same story with, I mean, you could say probably at least 95% of breweries. I don't want to just claim every brewery does, but the vast majority of them do.
Yeah, it's as simple with right now. It's reinventing what we do, because we rely heavily on events, and we'll give proceeds back from an event or a pop-up. And I think I don't know any brewery that I haven't been to because they're hosting a night with a portion of something supporting local. So now we're just on a more creative path to figure out how to keep our businesses healthy and thriving, but also remain committed to keeping our communities healthy and thriving. But just hiring local bands, beers, collaboration beers, they're all simple ways that your breweries are getting involved. When I asked Rachel to be a part of this, bullied Rachel into it. It was because their Unicorn Farts beer, which made national attention, that I don't think everyone realized also had a charitable attachment to it. Everyone was just more excited about glitter in their beer, or not excited.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go on a limb. I don't think Monument City's ever put glitter in beer, right?
Not that anyone's told me. No.
It doesn't seem quite on brand.
No, but listen, I think that's what's beautiful about this industry and about creating beer. The team at Duclaw does some really fun, exciting, different things, and their brand's done that for 22 years, 24 years, a lot of years.
25 almost.
25. Judy's creating some beautiful beers over at Checker Spot. And our team, we love, creating beer, and we all do it a little differently. And I think that's what's cool is, we all kind of have our own space, which is fun.
Let's take a real quick sponsor break. And then when we get back, we'll give Rachel an actual opportunity to talk a little bit, since Amethyst has been running the show so far. You have to unmute yourself. You make it seem like we're in a corporate Zoom meeting hey, no, you have to unmute yourself. You have to unmute yourself.
I work at a brewery. It's not corporate. I tried to segue her in. Did you see the way I brought up her beer and invited
I did,
her?
but I wasn't ready yet. Hey, we will be right back.
If you haven't heard about our beer dinners, well, now you have. Typically, the last Tuesday of each month, we partner with a local brewery and craft an exclusive 5-course dinner. Each course is thoughtfully paired with some of the finest craft beer available. You'll meet the brewery, enjoy memorable pairings and service, and have a damn good time. Like us on Facebook to stay in the know when tickets become available, because they will sell out quick.
Idiom Brewing Company proudly offers a delicious variety of beers to satisfy the most discerning tastes. Best known for their wide array of IPAs, delicious fruited sours, and robust porters and stouts, Idiom prides themselves on continuing to innovate, utilizing new and experimental hops, local ingredients, and unique flavor profiles. Idiom has a simple goal in mind: to bring people from all walks of life together to enjoy themselves and each other. Idiom Brewing Company is located in downtown Frederick, just south of the intersection of East Street and East Patrick Street, with ample seating and directly on Carroll Creek.
Uncapped is brought to you with support from McClintock Distilling, Maryland's first and only organic certified distillery. They are well known for their award-winning gin and are rapidly growing a name for themselves for their Matchstick Bourbon and Bootjack Rye Whiskey that have both won double gold at international spirits competitions. You can visit them in historic downtown Frederick along Carroll Creek for tours and tastings. Go to McClintockdistilling.com for more information. All right, Rachel.
Yes.
Duclaw is a little bit different in that, like, a typical way that a brewery can at least monetarily help is by, and it's usually based on taproom sales, like a portion of a pint sale, which is way more profitable than a canned product. Duclaw does not have a taproom, so that eliminates the ability that. So how does Duclaw approach its charitable endeavors?
Yeah, it is kind of funky because when you think about a brewery, you automatically think, oh, they have a tap room. And we're in the unique situation where we don't have that asset. So we've kind of been in the scenario already, even before COVID, trying to think of creative ways where we can give back, because, margins on packaging product versus taproom product are very different. So things that you can do to give back and a sense that's beyond monetary is just elevating your local community, whether it's through collaborations. I know that we work with a lot of small shops like Walk and Fuss and Diablo Donuts. We're able to do some national news with them. And then just things like unicorn farts, things that do have a big heavy hit, we're able to give back a portion of proceeds to Pride and stuff like that. A lot of things that we do involve donating beer. So when it comes to big events for Barks, which is local to Baltimore, or Back on My Feet, they're great charities. You should check them out. We can donate several cases of beer so that they can have that covered for their event, so they can make more money, so that they can, raise more money to support their businesses. And, just thinking about things outside of the box, the ways that you can uplift your community when you can't necessarily give a portion of the proceeds to every item. So, for like the Black Lives Matter movement, we did these sticker packs. So we sold them for $5 and donated the money to the Black Church Food Security Network and the Maryland Food Bank. And yeah, it is kind of difficult and hard because we don't have those kind of events that we can just say $1 to every pint goes to whatever charity we choose.
How does Duclaw, what's their approach for deciding what causes to get behind?
Gotcha. Well, I think it varies on a case-by-case basis. Sometimes it's built into the beer brand itself and it completes the story. Like when we were talking about unicorn farts earlier, obviously that's a beer with glitter. It's super fun. It's got rainbows. So it only made sense that we partner with Baltimore Pride for that. They were actually our first choice. We tried to set up donations with them, but unfortunately, Big Beer Miller Corporations swooped in. So we ended up partnering with Annapolis Pride, which ended up being super fun too. We were able to walk in their parade and donate a ton of beer to the event and even have kind of a unicorn farts bar crawl. Obviously, we couldn't do it this year because of COVID, but we still gave a portion of proceeds to them. But that was a lot of fun, and it just made sense because it kind of builds up the brand story. It makes sense as a whole. Other times, it's not based on the beer we're doing. Sometimes it's based on cultural movements that are happening in the moment and in our world at the time. So, trying to give back and create things around what's happening in that case, with like the Black Lives Matter movement and other things that are really important. Our industry struggled a lot with COVID, so trying to give back in those kinds of ways to our community. So yeah, sometimes it's based on the brand, sometimes it's based on what's happening around us. Sometimes we have people approach us and they're like, hey, would you like to participate in this? And, sometimes we're not always able to say yes, but we try to as much as possible. So sometimes it's a collaborative thing. Sometimes it's someone in a Duke staff member is like, hey, I really like this charity. Can we support them? So it kind of comes from all different kinds of places.
Is Unicorn Farts going to be a yearly thing now? It seems like it is.
I don't know.
That would be kind of silly not to.
Yeah.
Not to tell you all how to do your job, but
no, we're going to be releasing it again in 2021. It seems to really resonate with a lot of people. It's fun. Our motto is craft be cherished, rules be damned. And I know a lot of people give us heat for putting glitter in a beer, but you know what? Sometimes it's just fun to have fun with it. And we'll do all the traditional style lagers and Oktoberfest and stuff like that. And we'll do crazy flavored things too. So it's good to kind of not take it all so seriously and do the whole gamut and not be afraid to be made fun of and stuff like that. And, it's a pretty good sour too. I think a lot of people were surprised. They automatically think that, oh, it's purely gimmick, but I mean, it's a good beer too. So
I liked it. And I think craft beer should be fun. And not making it a yearly thing would be kind of like Monument City trying to limit how often they make Nobo and Sobo.
Those guys, I tell you.
But to your credit, you make it more often now, so I'm happy. Although I think the last couple of releases brewery only, or did it make it into distribution?
No, they've
so,
been
yeah.
brewery only. Yeah, I mean we send a little bit out to some accounts. So like out near you, like District East will get a case or two.
That's where I got Skeleton Crew, which is a phenomenal beer and does not taste nearly as dangerous as the 10% it is. So watch out for how this episode ends up going downhill in 10 or so minutes.
Yeah. So yeah, it's that's a fun beer too. So that was our that name, when COVID hit, there was a very small group of people actually working at the brewery. So nicknamed the Skeleton Crew, obviously. So that's where that beer came from.
I'm really proud of myself because I was so intelligent enough to assume that that's what it meant. I really went out on a limb with that thought.
Sometimes we get so clever in our beer names that it's hard to figure out its true meaning.
Did any of you do the All Together beer?
We weren't able to with production.
Yeah, we didn't. Our neighbors up the road, I'm almost 100% sure Mobtown did it.
Mobtown did, yeah. I had theirs. Yeah, that one seemed to fall in. It was released like an awkward time for breweries, where it was definitely much more doom and gloom across the industry, at least from everyone I talked to yet, because I don't know if like all of the regulations had been put in place yet that allowed you guys to survive, and it wasn't so apparent that people were going to drink so much during lockdown. So I would bet that it was kind of harder to fit that in, and it was a very weird time when All Together came out. Is that accurate? Because I'm talking to someone that has nothing to do with being inside the industry.
So at Checker Spot, we haven't been able to participate in any of those larger scale projects. Judy has our calendar out. We have very limited space for supplies, and she's actually, so Judy is not on the social media as much as I am, and a lot of times I have to bring to her attention these projects. There's not just like a beer industry database. It's like, hey, here's the new greatest project. So this is kind of where I wanted to see how other breweries approach the decision to get involved. All of those larger national programs, just for us, they just don't work on our calendar. So we have a really big project coming up. That's kind of why I reached out to Chris, but I'm being really good taking turns and sharing.
I feel like I'm just going to keep making you wait to talk about it.
I know. I'm being so good.
You are behaving yourself now.
Now I'm really curious.
I'm not yet. So, Ken, earlier I had said that putting, and this has absolutely nothing to do with charity, but I had said something about glitter being off-brand for Monument City, which I would say, like, historically have been a very classic style brewery. Not 100%, but leaning more towards that. But that seems to have changed a decent amount since the last time I talked to you. Like, you're pumping out a lot more hazies and sours and.
Yeah, I mean, I think, for us, we don't do a lot of sours. We do a few here and there, but not a lot. We really do focus on IPAs, whether that be, kind of East, West, New England or hazy. But we do a lot of IPAs, quite a few lager beers. And then obviously as we move into cooler months, we start to ramp up on kind of our maltier offering. So we kind of stick within there and dabble in a little bit of Belgian beers here and there. But yeah, I mean, I think when we started out, we had, we were probably in a similar boat to what maybe Judy and the team over at Checker Spot are. We were new and really couldn't keep up with demand and didn't have space available to take away from kind of our core offering. But as we've grown and we've invested in, a lot of new tanks, it gives us some flexibility. So even at the beginning of COVID, we invested in, 2 smaller tanks so we could continue to, produce, the New England or hazy style IPAs at a greater frequency and increase the volume there. So yeah, we do have a, kind of what we call our trail or hiker series. So we've got our Novo Sobo backpack guy and day hike that are all, those New England styles that we look to do at a regular frequency now. Not a lot for distribution. I mean, the reality is those are really expensive beers to make, and to put them out at distro, to the consumer, it just continues to jack up the price. So we try to keep it at a good price point, and that allows us to go through the tap room to do that. So.
Did you release Bullseye again this year? Okay.
We did not.
So I did not miss that.
You did not miss that. No.
I mean, I miss it because it was a really good beer, but I did not miss it.
No, we did. You didn't miss the release. No, we were really happy with that beer. I think the last time we were on was with Rob, who's a beautiful human being, and I think Duclaw, you guys have done some stuff with Rob as well.
I love Rob so much.
He's a good guy. Unless he's listening, then we should not heap praise upon him. But
that'll go straight to his Boston head.
But he's a lovely human being, and so we were unable to do that project with him this year for some reasons out of both his control and Monument City's control. So hopefully next year we'll see it again.
Okay.
But we do have a project with Rob that we'll see in December. So we're excited about that.
Awesome. Amethyst. Let's take a real quick break. And then we'll hear what else Duclaw has going on. So we will be right back. There are many reasons why I have chosen District East for where I purchase beer. I love the flexibility of being able to make a custom 6-pack or take home a crowler from one of the 8 beers on tap. The friendly and knowledgeable staff do an amazing job at keeping a diverse selection on hand. You can even purchase artwork from the monthly featured artist. District East is located on Northeast Street in Frederick in the same shopping center as Family Mill and Rockwell Brewery. You can find today's beer lists on the District East Facebook page or at www.districteast.beer. To all you craft breweries, wineries, and distilleries out there, listen up. Atlantic Custom Solutions is the real deal in providing you branded growlers, ceramics, glassware, and accessories like koozies, coasters, and keychains. Their high-definition digital printing, organic ink, and low-fire process ensures your brand is printed in ultra-high definition, giving you a one-up on the competition. We've used Atlantic Custom Solutions for uncapped branded glassware and couldn't be happier with it. Check them out. Visit www.brandmybeverage.com or give them a call at 434-286-4500 to learn more about how they can help you brand your business. I'm excited to announce our newest sponsor, Vanish Farmwoods Brewery. Vanish is a brewery and entertainment complex located on a 62-acre hops and apple farm in Luckett's, Virginia, just 20 minutes from Frederick, Maryland and Leesburg, Virginia. With over 20 beers on tap, a selection of wines and ciders, along with multiple food options, there is something for everyone. Vanish has live music on Saturdays and Sundays and a wide variety of special events. Go to vanishbeer.com for information on everything they have to offer. All right, Amethyst. Why'd you want to do this? Why have we all assembled? What was your vision? What do you have going on? Take it away. Now's your chance.
So we're doing a 15
time to shine.
Look, you understand, like 12,000 people are going to watch this just because of this project. We at Chick Spot, we have a honeysuckle Kolsch in our 15-barrel tank. It will be canned December 3rd. It is called Not Another 5K because historically in the suburbs, there is a 5K on every weekend to raise money for an event. This beer is a collaboration for Ava's T21 Foundation, but really it's the whole town of Mount Airy to build an adaptive playground. Before I left Mount Airy, I had written a grant for a 15,000 square foot playground that's inclusive of all physical needs. And they won the grant last year, and they still needed some funding. And since Rob Neff, one of our owners, is also from Mount Airy Main Street, we decided to meet together, and 140 cases of beer exclusively for one zip code. That is our big project.
That's really cool. Have they broken ground on it, or is it?
So the ground was already broken. Part of when I lived there, the problem was trying to figure out what to do with the skate park, which I actually, as a teenager, was part of getting built in the 90s. And
so you have a long history of nagging people into getting stuff done. I mean, activism to
it's a calling.
do good.
It is a calling. It really is a sickness, but it's also a blessing. But yes, so the skate park was going to cost us almost close to $1 million to get renovated. And
Wow.
But how do you explain that you're going to tear something down unless you're going to put something even more amazing in its place? So the ground will break this spring officially for the playground. It'll be phase 1 with a rubberized flooring and equipment that allows. So the research had shown that someone in a wheelchair could be wheeled into the area, and that was adaptive. This will have ramps, so kids with limited mobility can be engaged in all aspects. There's a swing that
I was going to say, I was going to ask that because I was at a park. I can't remember at what time frame now because time means nothing anymore. That I thought it was so cool when I saw that they had swings that could accommodate a wheelchair onto them.
Yeah.
Because it just made me think of someone in a wheelchair, like a kid who's always been in a wheelchair. Without that, would never know the joy of just swinging on a swing, which is such a part of childhood. So I was like, wow, that's an amazing advancement.
Yeah, and the entire playground's designed like that for all levels of disabilities and from ages like, toddler to 98. When I was researching the project, there are adults with disabilities who can benefit from just playing. And if there's one thing craft beer drinkers love, it's playing. So to me, it was a easy collaboration, an easy fix. Town of Mount Airy was very happy. They came up, they did a brew day with us. We have set up a Beer Me account just for the nonprofit. That way, like you're buying the beer through the nonprofit. And we are just acting, I guess, more as like a contract brewer, but not another 5K. It's like a brilliant name.
If you don't say so yourself.
If I don't say so myself.
So is the skate park being removed, or
It is. Sykesville went ahead and built a beautiful cement park. So
there's really no need for it?
Well, it's not that there wasn't a need. It's just when you come to terms, Frederick had built 2, Sykesville had 2. And that's a lot of, when you get involved in nonprofits, the balance of what's actually going to make the biggest impact and be the most personal to your heart. So I love a good skateboarder. Don't worry.
That's really cool. I had always for the longest time thought like there were some charities that you shouldn't, like, it seemed weird to mix with raising money using beer for, like, because I've teamed up with different locations in Frederick, Roasthouse Pub being one, and like it was the first time I broke into there's you're probably familiar with them, Amethyst Ship, the Student Homelessness Initiative Project. Is that right? So you're on mute again. So their mission is like they provide support to homeless students in Frederick County Public Schools. And it's clothing to like basically any need that they might need met. And for the longest time I was like, I don't know if they are they going to be okay with a fundraiser that involves alcohol? Because like there's just some people get so funny about that, like demonizing alcohol. But so I reached out with them and they were 100% like, yeah, of course, that's completely fine. So it's hopefully, and I think craft beer probably has really helped with like removing the demonization of the idea of drinking alcohol. Like it's not just something you use to go get blasted. Like you can enjoy just one or two in a social setting while doing good. Everyone's muted and just nodding for anyone listening.
I mean, Chris, you're right. It's interesting. Last year or 2 years ago, we did a beer with Rob, and it benefited, or a portion of the sales benefited McVet, which is a Baltimore-based nonprofit that helps homeless veterans kind of get back on their feet, and they're homeless for a variety of reasons. But everyone that's part of that program, there's no alcohol allowed. So, when we had a discussion with them about, hey, there's this brewery that wants to partner with you, they were really open to it because it was focused more on the community and the giving back as opposed to the alcohol. And to be fair, I don't know what everyone's taproom experience is, but your point's right. Rarely do people show up at a brewery and treat it like a bar. Most people have 1 or 2 beers and go on about their day. So it is a much different experience at a craft brewery, and what being part of that community means versus maybe other places in which you can purchase a beer.
Yeah, like I'm sure it happens, but the vast majority of people going to a craft beer brewery aren't going to just with the intention that I'm going to get trashed tonight and wreak havoc.
No,
it's not a dive bar.
No, I mean, and that's not
As
our
I take a break from the 10% beer I just drank to drinking the 9% Nordic Swell from Duclaw.
Yay.
But I'm safely in my basement.
Yeah,
That also is really good.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you, Ken, on sometimes it's kind of hard to, I guess, decide whether to participate in something or not, because maybe a charity has to do with being clean or sober. Like we donate several cases of beer to Back on My Feet's annual galas every year. And with their program, same as the program you were talking about, where they encourage people to be sober while they're going through the program. But the gala event is more so for the corporate members, even though there are some participants who are in attendance where they raise thousands of dollars for their program every year. So it is kind of odd to think about that kind of partnership working out, but it actually does do a lot of really good. It's a really good benefit for their community. So I would agree with that.
I mean, I guess the combination of the financial support it provides and just the awareness aspect of it way overshadows any possible negative connotivity of or interpretation of the collaboration between the brewery and that charity.
Yeah, and because it's a national organization, I think it aligns with what we're trying to focus on, because while we are based in the Baltimore region, we are distributed to 19 states and Canada and France. So we have to think about not only...
Wait, why just France?
Because it just happened that way. We're looking to expand. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe other countries will be added. It kind of is hard to expand during COVID times,
Yeah. That's just weird, though. Yeah, we only go to 19 states and France.
Maybe Jesus, were the Italians just not interested?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Do you ship it over, or is it contract brewed there?
No, we brew it all here. There's actually special kegs for...
Oh, the little plastic ones?
They're weird.
Like,
You have to fill them upside down. We had to make this whole contraption specifically for filling those kegs. And I guess it's so that it ships overseas easily.
I remember seeing those at Flying Dog because they're the same. Like they don't distribute to every state in the country, but they distribute to feel like Belgium is maybe where they have a decent following. And it's like Adroit Theory has some weird thing like that too. Like, they're just available in a couple states in the United States, and then like some far off country they're popular in.
Yeah. I mean, we're definitely trying to expand into other states. Right now we're partnering with Brew Pipeline's guest brewer program, which helps get our beers out to the West Coast, which we're not in right now. So sometimes one or two random brands might be able to get out to California and stuff like that. But right now it's kind of a slow process trying to get distributors engaged and getting them on board.
Ken, are you guys still, are you Maryland only, or have you moved into other states?
We are Maryland and Delaware.
Okay. So you'll send stuff to Delaware, but you won't send it to Frederick. Actually, there's actually a decent amount of it in Frederick now.
Yeah.
At District East.
I'm pretty sure we send it there. Yeah.
District East actually usually has a decent selection of your beer now.
Yeah, I think most of what we produce, even taproom only stuff, we get out to those guys.
There was the Brewers exclusive number 3 was there.
Yep, they've been really good to local craft beer as a whole. Like they're really supportive of the industry, which is fantastic. Delaware, and then we just opened up Western Maryland, so we just filled out the state as of October. So we weren't even in the entire state. And And then Moco, we start self-distro there actually next week. So yeah, we'll be in the state, all of the state.
So another question I have is, so this is 10% and it's a triple IPA. This is 9%, but it's only a double IPA. Is it the number of digits that you cross over from double to triple, or is that brewery discretion?
Yeah, I think, and again, I don't want to answer for everyone. For us, anything between like that 8 and 9, we consider a double. Once you start getting up into 10 or above, then it gets into triple.
Okay.
At least for us.
I mean, that makes sense. 10's pretty high. Yeah.
But when is it an imperial?
I think that's synonymous with double, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so. It doesn't seem to be used very often anymore.
I don't think it was as from a marketing perspective as grand.
Yeah, and it seems like the too close to falling in line with the British or something.
Good.
We use the word imperial for like our stouts and porters and stuff.
Yeah, I mean it's still definitely popular.
IPA.
Yeah, but there are.
Well,
sorry.
Amethyst first.
I said you think the British invented the IPA with this imperial thing?
They did.
Ken, your turn.
I was just gonna say there are some guidelines based on gravities to put it into categories
for the BJCP guidelines.
Yeah.
I don't care for those. I feel, and I'm glad that most breweries seem to have just taken that book and thrown it out the window, because it cuts. I feel like it would cut back on creativity.
Yeah, it does. I think the way most people use it. Well, I shouldn't say most, but at least the way we use it is as a starting point, right? Because every style has its so-called parameters, but
yeah.
Now your creativity comes into, whether it's your hopping schedule or how you want, your mashing schedule to be. So there's other ways to be creative, or if you're going to add adjuncts into it, what that may be. So.
Yeah, I mean, like there's this really cool beer coming out called Super Hype Bros 3.0. It's a white stout. I'm going to guess that there's probably not a BJCP style for that.
Probably not. No, I don't know. Maybe. And again, it does adjust, right? There was never a hazy or juicy.
Yeah, now they have the hazy and juicy category.
That's right. But Chris, I have to say, I've seen about 15 labels with your likeness. I hope you're getting charitable donations from that.
Not a damn thing.
But look at his camera quality.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. High end.
Completely unrelated.
How many have you
That was a very good guess. Because this was number 10.
Okay.
I'm mainly bringing it up because I'm on a streak of like 15 episodes mentioning Sans Jams.
His guys are killing it with that thing.
I wasn't. What's that?
They are Full Tilt just reinvented themselves on the Dan's Jams.
Oh, 100%. And I told Dan that the first time I tried them, and we did an episode talking about them, and he had a list of things that he said he owed me that I get to give me credit for, and that was one of them, of being an early champion of the Dan's Jams line. I think this is the 12th one.
It's close.
Yeah, so you're really close. And I got a message from a brewery today asking me if it would be okay to use my face on a label.
You need an agent now.
I kind of do.
Yeah.
I probably should find a way to profit off of it, but then no one would want to. When it's free, it's attractive, but so no, I do not. I mean, I guess I get beer with my face on it.
That's a form.
I mean, that's enough. That's all I need. Yeah.
Do you get pieces of the beer to take home?
Do I get what?
some cases of the beer to take home?
Depends on the size of the brewery. I'm not going to get greedy from like a real small brewery. Depending on the size, yes, I usually get about a case. But then I spread the love around because usually, like, although I have drank almost a case of Sans Champs, I think. I mean, like, that one was special though, because that not only did it have my face on it, it had my name, like, so it was like the full package. So if Monument City ever wants to, I mean, you keep talking about this guy you love, Rob, that you keep working with.
Well, or there's the Beardashian can that we had pitched and it kind of fell through with COVID.
That's right. Or they just use that as an excuse, and it's a convenient excuse to get out of things. Sorry, I can't. COVID.
They just didn't want you to be Khloe Jenner or Khloe Kardashian.
Or I didn't want to be Khloe Kardashian. So I feel like we probably covered the charity aspects of breweries enough, right?
Rachel and I, wait, real quick.
Oh, sorry.
It is November, so interesting enough, the 2021 Baltimore Beer Babes calendar, which proceeds do go to Kennedy Krieger. Rachel and I was a sharer and invited Rachel in, and her and I are Mrs. November.
Aw.
Together for 2021.
You told me last year that I was going to get to be in it.
You got to talk to Alice. That's that.
Both of you did. All three of you said.
Oh, that's Alice. 100% Alice. Alice was like, let's find new faces. And I invited Rachel. She's like, good. She'll be in your shoot. I'm like, fine. we killed it.
When does it come out?
Rachel and I have a really great photo for November. That's all I got.
But when does the calendar come out?
You got to ask Alice.
Oh, okay. So you don't know.
We don't know.
You mean yeah, it'll come out in March.
Make sure there's going to be a 2021 first, and then we'll
point. It's far enough away that is in question.
Shoot, we could just scratch out the 0 and put in the 1, because let's face it, 2020 didn't exist.
Yeah. So I was going to say, we could segue. Why don't each of you, if you have things coming up with each of your breweries that you want to talk about, we could do a round table of that. I know you're dying to talk some more, so we'll let you go first, Amethyst.
Oh, no, I want to listen.
Oh, okay. Ken, what does Monument City have coming up?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, from an events perspective, we don't have anything planned or set in stone given the current environment, but we are continuing to release some new beers. So we actually have a couple fun series coming up and some new beers. So we have a Belgian triple called A Walk Through Brussels that will be coming out. And what was really cool is we took second runnings of that and made a dry hopped table beer.
I love when that's done.
So that was really cool. And we dry hopped it with Mosaic. So it's this really, even though it's only like 2.5%, it's a really vibrant beer, and obviously just in time for the holidays. So as you gather around with your family and friends in groups no more than 10, you can enjoy a few of those and be able to carry on a conversation. While
we were talking, the governor's been talking, so who knows what kind of things he's put into place right now.
Well, I have it on the background, so I'm listening.
Okay.
Just funding and things like that.
So. Oh, okay. So it wasn't anything negative.
Well,
there was.
It's all negative, but I don't.
Oh yeah, but I mean, it wasn't like, because what I had heard from several people, the worry was like he just talked yesterday, like there maybe new numbers came out and he's decided that we're just locking back down again. So thankfully, it wasn't that.
I didn't hear that. No.
Well, that's good.
No. And then we have this campfire series, which is kind of a fun series for us. So as we moved into the colder months, we were playing around with some different beers. So we did a Rausch beer or a smoked lager, which we're really excited about. That'll be a tap room only. And then we did 2 collaborations within that series, one with Manor Hill on a Doppelbock, so another lager beer, which will be making its way into distro, and then one with the ever likable and famous Rob Goss, a vanilla porter.
Rob Goss again.
That will be coming out in December. So we're trying to figure out fun ways and safe ways to release that with him. Then we've got, what else? Still within our hiker series, so you'll see more Nobo, Sobo, and Backpack Guy as we come into the end of the year. And then the last thing is we do launch on our new online store at some point this month, which I'm stoked about.
For beer purchases or merch and everything too?
Beer and merch and everything else. So we're launching what we're calling the Trading Post, which will be kind of a comprehensive e-commerce or online store. So we're stoked about that. Your
coffee mug is still one of my wife's favorite coffee cups to drink out of.
They hold copious amounts of coffee.
They do. They are a large cup.
That's right.
What does Duclaw have? Actually, we're before we go to Duclaw, how's Monument City's luck been with, or bad luck been with, the can shortage?
So we started buying up cans back in March, April. We kind of saw it coming. We've been okay. I think we've not had any issues as of yet. That being said, we are getting things just in time. So we've had truckloads of cans pushed back and back and back. But we've worked with some other breweries, like Nepenthe and Union, to where we've had cans, or they've had cans and shared with us. So we've been working with other breweries to help kind of get through it. It's been tough, but I think we'll be okay. And if not, we have some old cans, old printed cans of ours in the wings if we need to wrap those. But so far we've been, knock on wood, lucky enough to keep a supply.
That's I've heard from some other breweries that use printed cans that had a ton of a brand that they either scaled way back or have stopped making, and that's kind of like their safety net too, is that they'll just slap stickers on those.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, it won't be pretty, but it'll work.
Is there an end in sight with this one? Because like the Crowler shortage, that was like a production timing type of thing, right? Whereas like they could a definitive end, but this shortage is a little bit different than the Crowler one, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think you have a bunch of different things going on, but I do think there's an end in sight. I mean, you'll read articles and they'll say, "Oh, there's back orders till 2022." I guess that may be true, but I think come January, February, you'll start to see maybe supply catch up again. And industries go through this, whether it's planned or not, where all of a sudden demand outpaces supply, and then they can reset pricing. So it's not terribly uncommon. It's just it happened to hit at the shittiest time possible.
So I've heard one of the main motivating factors is that like the biggest problems would really be coming from like soda makers and then the big three, because every like fountain drinks are that market has been decimated. So everyone's liquid is just being packaged into cans now, and it's those humongous companies that are using up all the cans.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it. And then you have, different types of cans versus kind of the standard, 202s that, maybe most of us use as far as the 12 ounces go. So, that takes up, facility production time and so on. So I know a couple of the big providers have new facilities coming online early next year. So, or later this year for early next.
Rachel, what does Duclaw have interesting coming out soon?
Yeah, well, we've had some delays due to COVID and can shortages as well, but we're hoping to get some of the last of our limited releases for the year out. The Hop Tarts, Dippa, and the Patriarchy Candy Cane already started hitting shelves, and the Sour Me Strawberry Grape, which is kind of like modeled after Nerds, is coming soon after that. So that got a little delayed, but that's coming out. So those are fun limited releases that Maryland will see a lot of. We've got some fun projects coming up for local shops like Diablo Donuts. We just partnered with them again to do a donut with them where the chocolate glaze on the donut is made with our Sweet Baby Jesus beer, and I tried some last week and it was so good. Like the peanut butter filling was almost marshmallowy and whippy, and it was very good. And then
Their donuts are so good.
Oh, so good. And then we have another collaboration coming up with kombucha, wild kombucha, and La Food Marketa. So can't say a whole lot about it on now because it's not being talked about yet, but it's going to be a fun project that centers around giving back to the community. It's going to kind of post on social on Giving Tuesday, which is actually coming up too, December 1st or 3rd, the beginning of December.
Awesome. I wish Diablo Donuts was closer. Actually, I'm probably glad that they're not.
You'd spend all your money there.
Yeah. Amethyst, what's coming up with Checker Spot?
So, of course, the big Kolsch project, the 140 cases of beer for not another 5K to raise money for Inclusive Playground. We have one of the best parking lots in the city. We share a tailgating lot for M&T Bank Stadium, and since the Ravens have started allowing some viewers in, we're excited to see.
You notice that the Steelers are undefeated?
The Ravens. Look, I just care about the tailgating party.
Okay.
The footballing is up to everyone else.
Okay. I just didn't know.
Are you a Steelers fan?
Yes, I'm a Steelers fan.
Well, come visit us next time.
I grew up
I
grew up just outside of Pittsburgh.
Beer, no, football and beer, it brings everyone together. I've learned so much since being here about the football community, and it's very similar to the craft beer community. We're all friends on football day.
I think that's the exact opposite.
But then you all
that's almost like the Civil War, like brother against brother. And
I'm trying to.
You're not a Washington Redskins fan.
There's no such thing.
Football.
It's it's a football team.
So we're actually we just bought 2 30-gallon tanks.
Barrel.
They're
probably 30 barrels.
30 barrel, yeah. We just bought some big glossy tanks. So we're about to bust a wall out in our backspace into a whole new space to accommodate the amount of stuff we need. So that's pretty exciting. Because of that, I have been given a lot more free range on flavor profiles.
It's the last thing anyone should give you.
My Christmas. I was brewing my Christmas beer. It was awesome. I'm gonna raise money, save the children, and put lactose in everything.
You and free range are words that should not go together.
Why are you such a hater?
It comes from a place of love.
Okay. But I mean, if we're gonna be off topic and Amethyst topic, do you notice my lipstick leaves no stains? on the glass. We're an
I-
hour in.
I did not notice that. Is that like some kind of magic or what?
Years of practice. It's very important. I feel like your
Ken
viewers
has zero
understand.
lipstick on his can. You're not special.
Aw. It's all stuck up in his beard.
All right. I want to point out and I want to proclaim how proud of myself I am that I kept to the hour limit that I told two of you that the episode would be at. You know how hard that is? No one's impressed.
Yeah, very. It is very hard. Yeah.
So I will end this with thank all three of you very much for not only talking to me today, but the good that you have done in, I was going to say your communities, but it's all one community because you're all in Baltimore. So thank you for the good that you have done in Baltimore. Although, and Annapolis and Mount Airy. Yeah. So thank you for the good you've done in multiple communities throughout Maryland. And actually thank you to every brewery that has helped make people's lives a little bit easier throughout this whole time. And thank you everyone for watching and listening. Cheers.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
And Ken, when you're done working with that loser Rob, feel free to hit me up.
We definitely will. We definitely will.
I kid though. Everyone loves Rob.
No,
I'm
you know what I like about, I like a lot of things about Rob, but one thing, Rob is, he is so nice to everybody and has always positive things to say about everybody.
Unless you're not wearing a mask.
That's true. That's true.
Then he hates you with a passion.
Well, yeah. Well, understandable.
Yeah.
But no, he's a sweetheart. He really is. So.
Yeah.
But,
so cheers to Rob also.
Yeah. Cheers to Rob.
Cheers to that.
Yeah. Thank you for having me join. I appreciate it, guys. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.